Hi. I don't even know where to start. I guess. I'm Natasha, and this is the story of how my sister's perfect wedding turned into the worst nightmare of her life, and how I made sure her husband paid for what he did. You know when you grow up with someone and you think you know them? My sister, Amelia, was my best friend when we were kids. We shared everything: clothes, secrets, late-night snacks. But somewhere along the way, she became different. Colder. We used to laugh about how we'd be each other's bridesmaids someday. Then one day, she got engaged, and didn't even tell me until I saw the post on Instagram. I remember the picture. Her hand, shaking slightly as she held up a ring. The caption, "Forever with you, Thomas." I didn't even know his last name. I stared at it for a long time. I texted her, "Congrats. When did this happen?" She replied hours later, "It was sudden. We'll catch up soon." We never did. Months passed. I found out through our mother that the wedding invitations had gone out. I never got one. I asked Mom about it. She looked away, said, "Amelia thought it would be too awkward." Too awkward? I laughed. She's my sister. Mom sighed, "You know how things have been between you two. She just wants peace on her day." I didn't sleep that night. The betrayal burned in my chest like acid. I replayed every memory, every time I'd covered for her, protected her, taken the blame when she'd screwed up. And now, I wasn't even good enough to watch her walk down the aisle. So, no, I didn't go to the wedding. I sat on my couch that day, scrolling through social media, pretending I didn't care. But I did. I watched as photos flooded in, Amelia in a lace gown, Thomas smiling like a man who owned the world. My phone buzzed every few minutes with notifications from mutual friends, tagging me in posts with captions like "Wish you were here." Then 3 days later, everything changed. It started with a short clip. Someone at the wedding had uploaded a video to TikTok, the first dance. It looked magical at first, fairy lights, soft music, Amelia glowing in her white dress. Thomas spun her around, smiling, and then suddenly, his hand lashed out. A slap. Loud, echoing. Gasps from the crowd. Amelia froze. You could hear the music stutter, people shouting. The video cut off there, but it was enough. It went viral overnight. Millions of views. Thousands of comments. Did he really hit her? She looked terrified. This man needs to be in jail. My heart stopped when I saw it. I played it over and over, staring at the split second before the slap, the tension in his jaw, the look in her eyes. I knew that look. I'd seen it before years ago, when our father used to yell. I called Amelia nonstop. No answer. I messaged her, begged her to reply. Finally, 2 days later, she texted, "Don't call me. It's fine." Fine. That word hit me like a slap of its own. Then Mom called me, crying. "She's staying with him," she whispered. She says it was a misunderstanding. That he was drunk, that he didn't mean it. I couldn't breathe. I hung up and drove to their house, 2 hours away. When I got there, Amelia refused to see me. I stood outside in the rain, pounding on the door, shouting her name. Thomas opened it instead. He leaned against the frame, smiling that smug, perfect smile. "Natasha," he said smoothly. "Didn't expect to see you here." "Where is she?" I snapped. "She doesn't want to see you," he said, crossing his arms. "You've been stirring up trouble online." "She's my sister," I said. "You hit her in front of everyone." His eyes darkened. "Careful," he said quietly. "You don't know what you're talking about." For a moment, we just stared at each other, rain pouring between us, his smirk never fading. Then he closed the door. Right in my face. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let him destroy her. I started digging. I didn't have much, just names, tags, a few videos. But I found things. Messages from old co-workers of his, posts from women he'd dated before. A pattern. Accusations, deleted comments, stories that never got traction because he was careful. Polished. Charming. I started messaging them. At first, they were hesitant. But then, one woman, Julia, sent me a voice note. Her voice shook. "He's dangerous," she said. "He hurt me." But no one believed me. "Be careful." That's when I realized Amelia wasn't his first victim. I made a burner account and started posting the evidence. Screenshots. Old messages. A photo of a bruised arm with his name in the caption. I linked everything to the viral wedding video. People started connecting the dots. The comments turned. This guy has a history. Why isn't anyone arresting him? Protect the bride. Thomas's reputation began to crumble. He tried to fight back, threatened lawsuits, posted statements about defamation and false accusations. But the more he denied, the more people came forward. Then Amelia called me. I'll never forget her voice, small, cracked. "What are you doing, Natasha?" she whispered. "I'm protecting you." "You're ruining my life," she shouted. "You don't understand, he's changed." "Amelia, he hit you in front of hundreds of people." "It was a mistake," she sobbed. "Please stop." I wanted to scream at her. To shake her. But I could hear something else in her voice, fear. Not anger. Fear. So I didn't stop. 2 weeks later, the story exploded again, this time, national news. Reporters camped outside their house. Sponsors pulled out of deals he'd been negotiating. His company fired him. And then, a few nights later, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a video. Amelia, sitting on the floor, crying. Thomas shouting in the background. "You did this," he screamed. "Your psycho sister ruined everything." Then a crash, and the video ended. My whole body went cold. I drove to their house again. Police cars were already there when I arrived. They told me he'd been arrested, neighbors heard screaming and called 911. Amelia was in the hospital. When I saw her, she looked so small. Her face was bruised, her eyes empty. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You were right." I held her hand, and for the first time in years, she cried in my arms. I thought it was over then. That justice had finally been done. But Thomas was released on bail a week later. And he disappeared. For a while, I tried to move on. Amelia went to therapy, stayed with Mom. But I couldn't sleep. Every night, I'd see his face, that smirk when he'd said, "Careful." I couldn't let it go. So I found him. He'd fled to a neighboring city, staying under a fake name. I tracked him down through one of his old contacts, a guy who owed me a favor. He was living in a cheap motel, broke, angry, drinking. I remember the night I went there. The air smelled of gasoline and rain. I wore a hoodie, my hands shaking. I didn't plan to hurt him, at least, that's what I told myself. I just wanted him to see me. To know that I wasn't afraid anymore. He opened the door, eyes red, face hollow. "You," he slurred. "Me," I said. He laughed bitterly. "You ruined everything. You did that yourself." He took a step forward. "You think you're some kind of hero? You don't even know what she's like." "Maybe not," I said softly. "But I know what you are." He lunged at me then, fast, violent. Instinct took over. I pushed him back, and he stumbled, hitting the table. A bottle shattered. He fell, right into the mess of glass and spilled liquor. The lamp tipped over. Fire. It happened so fast. Flames caught the curtain, the carpet. He screamed. I froze for 1 second, then ran. The motel burned down that night. They said it was an accident, faulty wiring, maybe. No one asked questions. His body was never found. Amelia doesn't know what happened. I told her he was gone, that she was safe now. She cried and thanked me for standing by her. She started over, went back to school, found her smile again. Sometimes, late at night, I watch her new videos online. She talks about healing, about finding peace. People call her brave. They don't know the truth. They don't know that the peace she found was bought with fire. And every time I see her smile, I whisper to myself, he'll never hurt her again.